Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Hi, my name is Brooke, I'm 29 years old, and on my channel I like to do personal finance videos. So if you like that kind of content, please make sure to subscribe. We are currently so close to 800 subscribers, so thank you to everyone who had subscribed, and my goal is to get to 1,000 by my birthday in October. It is another Friday, so we're going to do another Finance Fridays. And today I am going to go over everything that I am invested in my Roth IRA. I put up a video talking about my Roth IRA and how much I've invested in it in the past several years, and that it has grown to $50,000. And a lot of people had questions about what I was invested in. So I'm going to show you what exactly I am invested in, how much of each I am invested in, and also give you some thoughts about why I kind of want to change things up as someone who is just a retail investor who wants to try and make her account a little bit cleaner, because I originally had my Roth IRA in Betterment, which is a robo-advisor that goes ahead and buys stocks for you based on your risk level that you tell it. But I moved over to Fidelity last year to start doing it myself because I felt more confident in my skills. So we are going to look at my portfolio right now and then talk about how I kind of want to change it up a little bit so that it is a little bit cleaner, and also so that it makes sense for the type of account that it is. If you don't know what a Roth IRA is, a Roth IRA is an individual retirement account in the US, and it allows you to have tax-free growth on your money. So when you go ahead and put in money into your Roth IRA, you do not get a tax benefit during the year that you put the money in. However, once you go to take that money out in retirement, you get to take that money out completely tax-free. So you don't have to pay taxes on any of the gains that come from a Roth IRA. So it's a really great account to have because it lowers how much taxes you have to pay in the future. And so because of that, there are quite a few types of investments that are preferred to keep in a Roth IRA versus a traditional IRA because of the taxes and everything like that. But before I go over exactly everything that I am invested in, I do want to give a caveat that this is for education purposes only. I am not a CPA, I am not a CFP, I am just a girl on the internet who has done research, watched videos about investing, and I am a retail investor, which means I'm just a single person on the internet who is buying stocks through an account that allows you to buy and sell stocks as a retail investor. Honestly, if you have ever seen the movie Dumb Money, which I absolutely love, it's a great movie. It is about the GameStop stocks thing that happened with Wall Street bets in 2020, and that was honestly what really got me thinking about stocks and into investing. And take Wall Street bets with a grain of salt. However, it did introduce me to the concept of being a retail investor and getting into investing. But I like to keep things pretty safe and conservative when it comes to investing. So we'll see that when we go through my account and see what I'm invested in. So let's go ahead and go over to my account. So this is all of the investments that are currently in my account. And as you can see, the account total is $54,854.40 as of August 10th. And so let's look at what we have. So the first one I have is VTI, which is the Vanguard Index Funds, and it is the total stock market ETF. And so this allows you to buy into this single thing and buy the entire market at one time. And the reason why people like ETFs is because you trade them like normal stocks. However, they are a basket of stocks, and generally they are passively managed, not actively managed, and their job is to get the benefits of owning a bunch of different stocks and tracking the overall market. And so this is the total index fund, so this is the entire US stock market, and this is currently 26.57% of my holding. And so this is the biggest one that I have. The next one I have is the VEA, which is the Vanguard Developed Markets Index Fund. And this stock allows me to have some international funds in here. And this is 22.45% of my account. Next, we have SPYM. This is an S&P 500 ETF, and the S&P 500 is 500 of the largest companies in the US, and it follows that. And this one is currently 16.75% of my account. Next up is the F0ROX, and this is the Fidelity Zero Total Market Index. And this one is basically the same as VTI. However, it has zero fees along with it. So this one has an expense ratio of about 0.06, 0.03, so very cheap to own. But this one actually has zero fees, and this is 10% of my account. And so what I actually think I will probably do is I will probably try and sell the VTI and the SPYM and put it all into Fidelity Zero Total Market Index. So when you sell things inside of IRA or a 401k, if you don't take that money out, like if you just sell it and then reinvest that money into other stocks, that is not a taxable event. And you don't get any penalties on that. You're not taking the money out of the account. You're just changing it over between different types of investments. So that's totally fine. So to keep my life a little bit cleaner, I will probably take the VTI and the SPYM and go ahead and put that into Fidelity Zero Total Market Index, because as you can see, the top 10 holdings here, a lot of these are going to be inside of the S&P 500. So, you know, you see NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google, Broadcom, another Alphabet, this is Class C, Micron Technologies, Meta, which is the parent group of Facebook, and Instagram, and then Tesla. So you can see that, you know, the top 10 holdings are 1/3 of this, and all of these are going to be in the S&P 500 as well. So if you have an S&P 500 one on top of something like the Fidelity Zero Total Market Index or VTI, like those have very similar holdings. They're all going to have very similar holdings. Next up, I have VWO, Vanguard International Equity Index Funds. So this is another international one. And so this one does stuff with giving me access to markets outside of the US. And this says the emerging market. So how the other one was developed markets, this is the emerging market. EGG, this is iShares, which is just another company that has ETFs. This is the core US aggregate bond ETF. So this is giving me some bonds, and it's only 4% of my account. So really, I'm trying to keep bonds like to be very small portion of this because I want this to have a lot of long-term growth. I'm not looking to use this money anytime soon, so I don't need it to be in a lot of safe things. But this one is fine to have, and it's just giving me some access to bonds. But again, it's only 4% of my account, so not too crazy. Next up is SPMD. This is the Series Trust State Street Portfolio S&P 400 Mid Cap ETF. So the S&P 500 is like the top 500 largest companies, and those are considered large capital. That's what cap stands for. And so mid cap is like the mid-range companies. And so this just allows me to have access to some of the smaller companies. And this is 4.31%. And then the next one I have is FZILX, which is the Fidelity Zero International Index. So this one also gives me access to developed markets and developing markets. And so what I might actually do is to sell my VEA and put that all into the Fidelity Zero International Index, because it works the same, but again, it has those zero fees. As you can see over here, this shows you which countries that you really are in. So for example, you have the Taiwan Semiconductors, Samsung, which is Korea, SK, HYNIX, ASML Holding, Tencent Holding, that's China. HSBC, that's Hong Kong Bank, but it's UK regulated. Novartis, AstraZeneca, which is the UK, Roche Holdings, and then like the Royal Bank of Canada. So this is a lot of the different holdings in different developed nations. Next up is the SPSM, and this is the S&P 600 small cap. So we have the large cap, which is the S&P 500. We have mid cap and we have small cap, and so this just gives me access to some of the small capital, so like the smaller ones that are changed. And this is 3.3%. I will just keep them, and then I'll just reinvest the dividends into those, so I'll still have a small amount of that. And then BNDX is the Vanguard Charlotte Funds Total Bond ETF. So this is another bond one, but I think I am going to take this one and I am going to put it in with another one of the bond ones I have, the AGG. And this one is only 0.83% of my account, so really not that much. But this is another bond one. So in total, I have about 5% in bonds. And then EMB is the iShares TRJP Morgan Emerging Markets ETF. So again, more to do with the international market. So I'll probably take this and also put this into FZILX to keep everything a little bit cleaner. And then last but not least, I have $4.51 in cash. So not doing anything with that, but that's fine. So what I would love to see here, instead of having like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different ones, I want to have FZROX, the total stock market index from Fidelity, FZILX, the international one. I want to keep one of the bonds, so I'll probably keep the one that has the lowest expense ratio, so either the AGG or the BNDX. And then I will keep the mid cap one and the small cap one, just so I can have a small slice into mid cap and small cap specifically. So that is everything that I am invested in and everything that I would like to do to clean up my portfolio. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any good advice about this. I am still fairly new to investing, but I mainly invest in index funds and ETFs. As you see, I'm not investing in individual stocks because I want to have broad market reach, and that allows me to have access to multiple different companies and things like that, which, don't put all your eggs in one basket is a saying for a reason, and that's how you should treat your stocks. So I like taking it from the ETF standpoint. Again, like the Fidelity Zero ones, I like those because they have zero fees. So the expense ratio is 0, which is nice. Let me know if you have any other questions about what I'm invested in. Again, this video is to educate you about what you can invest in. So I hope this was helpful to you all. As always, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, y'all.